someone like yourself who has set their sights on such an ambitious target from a business standpoint. I think somewhere I heard you say that you want to have $1 billion company.
Yeah, multi-billion to be ideal, but we'll start with one first.
I like it. To have that kind of ambition and aspiration is so unique. You know, it's one thing to say that you want to be successful, but to do it to that level, I don't think we even really have a grasp on how big that really is.
Big.
You know, it's big. It's a lot of millions, right? But where does that desire and ambition come from?
I think it has stemmed from somewhere that probably doesn't drive me now. Like, you know, when I was young, I had a normal upbringing. What I thought was normal. It's probably abnormal now when I look at it, because my parents were pretty incredible to raise me as to the type of person I am, which is probably not that normal. But for me, it felt like a normal upbringing. Grew up in a normal white collar or blue collar working suburb. Went to public schools. Mum and dad worked PAYG jobs. Never went without, but we weren't rich. And I just always felt like Mr. Average. I never had like the good looking girls. I never was good at sport, or like I was okay at sport but never the best. Same as, you know, with any of the school work that I did. I just never felt like I excelled at anything. And I guess that created like this inner drive and the feeling of inadequacy, right? So I was like, when I got into the real world, being where I am now in business and life, it gives you the ability to I guess be able to go as hard as you possibly can at something, and really it's just you versus you. Like, you know, when we're in school, you're sort of like in a controlled environment. You know, again, when you're growing up with girls and stuff, like, again, it's a controlled environment. Like in school as such, if you're like the alpha guy, you get all the girls, but in life, that's not necessarily correct, right? So, yeah, I think when I got out of school, it was just like, I want to be successful, and it started with property investing, and then it started with business, and then I just really enjoy now the chase of goals. So like, you set a goal, you hit it. You set a goal, you hit it. And then as those goals get bigger, naturally the numbers get bigger. So, you know, having a goal like hitting $1 billion in revenue with an international business is a pretty big fucking goal, and I got a lot of steps to be able to get there, and that's what's exciting. Where if I set $100 million goal, for example, still a big number, but I'm like 25-30% of the way there yet, and I'm only 28, so I've got a long way to go in life. So it's good to have really, really big goals, and then chunk those big goals down to, you know, more bite-sized chunks, and they're goals that can, or it's a goal that can last a lifetime. That's what I like about it.
It'd be interesting to get your take on this, because I think that having ambitious goals is like really important for anyone. Doesn't matter what area of your life. I just think having things to strive for and move towards is of benefit to anyone. I think at some point in time, people who have maybe achieved a few things or are really trying to achieve something that's outside of the ordinary come to this point in conflict where they're starting to experience a few challenges, and maybe they have to realign the systems that they have in place to get there. There's a quote from James Clear that I'll probably somewhat butcher, but it's something like, people don't rise to the level of their goals, but rather fall to the level of their systems.
Or standards, yeah.
Yeah. So at what point did standards and systems become super important for you to be who you are today?
Well, I think it's something that's important the whole way, right? But again, like you just said, you get to a certain level, and you won't grow past that level until you increase your standards or get better systems for your life. And my life's been no different, you know, like I got to a level where I was a PAYG employee. I had a few properties. I was making really good money in the mines, and I had certain standards, and I had a certain level that I held myself to. And then, you know, as I moved from that into the business world, same thing. Like my first 12 to 24 months in business, I got to a certain level, and then I thought, well, I'm not really growing past this now. I'm not really the person I want to be. So then again, you lift those things being standards, and how you hold yourself accountable to things or not. And then that next level of growth comes. But you're right in what you said around, you know, people get a choice. So we've had some really challenging times in business. You know, 2023 was a really, really challenging year for us. You know, our revenue dropped by 30%, which means profit went to negative. My partner had some really bad health issues, And I was like, at the time, I was like, fuck, maybe I just don't want to have this big business anymore. I'll just take it easy. I make really good money now. I have not that much stress in the grand scheme of things. Don't have a massive team. So you had two choices, right? It's like take the easy route, stay where you're at right now, live a similar life, or, make some changes, do what needs to be done to then get to that next level. But it happens over time. That's the thing.
Yeah. So how did you make those decisions though? Because I think that's a really interesting inflection point for people is like I've done it at times in my life. I've achieved something that I thought I really wanted, got there and thought, this isn't giving me what I thought it was going to give me when I looked at it from a distance. I've now got to make a decision that I either put up with that and keep moving forward or something has to change.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in that moment, people hate change. They also hate uncertainty. And so in making big decisions that are likely going to require some kind of consistency and commitment to adhere to, like there comes this point of internal conflicts where it's actually hard to make that decision and you're operating out of almost pure faith that it is the right one. It's like,
it's how you operate in the whole life, right? The reality is no one knows what their future's going to hold. We think we know. We think we have a job that's secure or a business that's secure, but like a decision gets made that is out of our hands tomorrow and all that changes, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, I'm one of those people who I talk to myself a lot, like internal dialogue.
Okay, you having car chats with yourself?
Yeah, like I don't listen to, I don't have the radio ever on in the car. Or I don't have a TV in my house. So I'm someone who like often is if I'm not speaking to people, I'm speaking to myself and just working through things in my own head, which sounds weird to say out loud, but it's the reality. And I'm someone who is very open about my goals and what I want to achieve. And when you go through hard times and they come in different shapes and sizes, I question myself, like, do you really want to do what you said you're going to do? Like, how bad do you really want it, right? And the way that I look at life is like life happens for you, not to you. So when bad things happen, it's just life testing you to say, how bad do you really want what you say you wanted? And I'm someone who doesn't like losing. So, it's like that, again, competition, internal competition to not be Mr. Average and then to continue to level up. So, which you hear on all the fucking podcasts, right? Level up, level up. It's all like jargon. But at the end of the day, I'm someone who enjoys looking back at my past 12 months to go, what have I done in that 12 months? And then looking at my current 12 months going, fuck, I've done a lot more than I did last year. Every goal that I set is bigger than I did last year. And you compound that over a long period of time and really, really cool things happen. Like this, like running is the best kind of example, because whenever anyone starts running, for example, they start off by doing a 5K run or something like that. Then they'll maybe go 10, maybe they'll go 15. Most people get to a half marathon, and some people get to a marathon and like, fuck yeah, I've hit the pinnacle of running, and then they generally stop because they're like, oh, I've hit that goal now, I'm a marathon runner, and then they'll go do something else. And then there's those certain few people who then go to like a 50 or 100K, and then a 100 miler, and then a 200 miler, and that's sort of and then you can continue to keep going. So that's why I like running, because I just did the 200 miler and now I'm like, fuck, there's a 300 mile race in the US that I might go do next year. And it's not because I enjoy fucking running. It's just that I enjoy like that progression of like, I'm now doing something that I never thought that I could do. And the next time I do a bigger thing, again, it's something that you couldn't, or you didn't think you could achieve. And I really like that.
What is it though? What is it, the feeling that you get from that, whether it be business or running or whatever avenue of life, when you've achieved something that maybe you once doubted you could? Like, what is the feeling that you get that seems to be addictive enough for you to continue to replicate these experiences throughout life?
It's how real self-confidence is built. Like, not that bullshit self-confidence that people put on social media. It's like, it's when you really have self-belief and you honestly don't need like external validation or people to tell you, how good you are, or like to have the flashy shit so other people look at you and go, fuck, that guy or girl must be crushing it. It's real self-confidence. Like, that's how you build it. You build it by doing things that you didn't think you could do. And then all of a sudden you go, wow, maybe I'm better than I thought I was. And then you do it again. And then you're like, maybe I'm even better than I thought I was, right? That's how you build self-confidence. And everyone has their own self-image. Everyone has their own insecurities. Everyone was brought up differently. And I've just found that the more I do and the harder things I do and the more things that you do that you didn't think you were going to or couldn't, or not even that you didn't think you couldn't, it just wasn't on your radar, the better you are in all areas of life. So